I want to take a few minutes to talk about the Sony ZV-1, an everyday carry camera. I'm a fan of compact cameras, and I wanted to give this a go to document my move from the frigid Northland to the dirty South without having to pull up my rig and change out lenses and what have you. Now, I briefly had the G7X Mark III, and while I still prefer the former's body, tilt and selfie screen over the fully articulating, and the button layout over the minimalist approach Sony took to this camera, the ZV-1 is simply better in every way. My opinion, of course. The ZV-1 produces stellar imaging for hybrid shooters, sporting a 1-inch sensor, 24 to 70mm equivalent f1.8 to 2.8 lens. It's capable in nearly any situation. This camera was tailor-made for vloggers, to say the least, but I believe it could complement any Sony photo or video system incredibly well. The built-in ND filter works wonders for exposing video correctly, and it allows photographers to slow down the shutter speed on bright days when needed. If that isn't enough, the ZV-1 has a built-in adapter ring to add another set of sunglasses to your rig, or a wide-angle converter if you need wide angles. A shining feature of this little camera is the CineSpace and S-Log picture profiles, allowing you to match colors with your cinema rigs. I especially love the ZV-1 for guerrilla filmmaking, slip shots, or simply fitting into tight spaces your normal camera cannot be. If you're big on street shooting, this isn't an eye-grabbing camera in the best of ways. I do like the minimalist approach in this regard, as it doesn't draw much attention to the user, making it great to maintain a natural shooting environment. Let me use the body as a segue to nitpick some negatives I have with the ZV-1. I do prefer the set buttons and longer lens that the G7X III offers over the Sony after using the two. And the ZV-1 could lead to some of Sony's infamous menu hunting if you're not used to the system. Needless to say, the ZV-1 is pretty bare of any special dials or buttons aside from a few custom keys, making it less daunting for vloggers, but slower to use for quick settings. Speaking of the G7X III, the ZV-1 does not overheat in 4K like the former does, but it still will after a few minutes of use. What I mean by that is you can use it after it overheats, where the G7X III won't. The autofocus is great on the ZV-1, but to manual focus you may have to use the jog wheel. This might be fine for some people, but I prefer a set focus frame. But overall, I've enjoyed the ZV-1 for my EDC camera. So far, it's a great all-in-one package for both photo and video. Well, that's it for now. Subscribe to Matt's Notes on Instagram, and I'll see you later.